And I want to turn the tables a second on Rosina too. You all may not know it, but Rosina is in charge of a lot of things around here in the educational programs, and also she's one of the smartest horticulturalists around. So if you've got a problem, perhaps other than trees, Rosina is going to be one of the best people around to answer that for you. That includes John into that as well, of course. You all welcome to Natural Gardner, and welcome to the basic tree care for Central Texas. I'm going to be like already I'm out away from the mic, right? Yeah. I don't know what we're going to do about this, but it's
would you prefer it out here?
Yeah, let's try that. I'm used to walking around and moving around. I have a lot of this excess energy that I like to get out. So standing right here, I may just have to carry the mic around. I also like to hold on to stuff, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. But before we get started, I always like to let folks know that as a consulting arborist, the way that I make my living and the way that I keep doing this and keep being out there and keep being available for these classes and keep being available for Barton Springs type of work is that homeowners call me and make an appointment for me to come and walk around and look at their trees in their yard with them. As I've started saying, it would benefit you whether you even think you have tree problems, just to get me to walk around your yard with you, talk about your trees, their condition, their health, what you might need to do to take a little better care of them. And so my business card is around. If they're all gone back there, let me know. I've got a few extra up here. But it's really important to me. Over the years, what has really kept me in business and kept me going, spiritually as well as financially, is homeowners. I do a lot of other kind of work as a consulting arborist, but my real market niche that keeps me going is homeowners. Just this past week, I probably saw 20, 25 different sites, and I do that most weeks. And as a consulting arborist, I try to keep my fee affordable, and in order to do that, I drive a lot. I have to see a lot of sites, and it's everywhere from Georgetown to San Marcos and Llano to Bastrop or Smithville. Wherever people are and want me to look at their trees, I'm going to go look at them. I decided to share a little story with you. I thought it was sort of opposite appropriate to what we've all been experiencing here. I have a couple of grown daughters, and my youngest daughter and my granddaughter, who's 4, they live in Costa Rica. And they live in southwestern Costa Rica up in the mountains, about 3,000 feet up a mountain that's about like this. It's only about 4 miles from the beach, but it's way up in the mountains. And this is the 4th year that I've gone to visit them. But this is the first year that I've ever been there during what they call the rainy season. In Costa Rica, they don't have daylight savings, and it gets light about 6 o'clock in the morning, gets dark about 6 o'clock at night every day of the year. And they really don't have seasons exactly like we do, or some people don't think we do, but we do of course have seasons. What they have is a rainy season and what they call a dry season. Well, the previous times I'd been to Costa Rica, I'd been there in the dry season. And it's jungle and it's lush, but it's dry. This time we were a little later in the year getting down there, and we bumped up against the rainy season. And so, we get down to San Jose, and my daughter lives about a 5-hour, really rough, rocky road drive out to the house where she lives. And so it was after dark already when we got out to the house, and you could tell it had rained that day earlier. Everything was just absolutely soaking wet. Right beside their house, and we're talking about a mountain slope like this, is a mountain stream falling down this mountain over these boulders, so it's really loud. And so we get there and we get out of the vehicle, and this mountain stream is just roaring. I mean, you can hardly hear yourself talk. This mountain stream is just roaring, and of course it's just wonderful to hear it. And it's late, we've been traveling all day and it's already dark, so we lay down and we're going to go to sleep, and the stream is roaring, and I got my flashlight and I'm shining it out the window, and this house doesn't have any windows are screens in it. You sleep under mosquito netting, and so it's raining outside. I can see, you know, the rain with my flashlight, but you can't hear it because the creek is, you know, so loud. And so I'm saying to myself, well, you know, we're not going to be able to tell that it's raining because the creek is so loud. Well, that was my naivete, let me tell you, because the next afternoon, for 4 hours, it rained 18 inches.
Is that normal?
And it's normal. I think it rained about 60-something the 5 days we were there. But the reason I tell you about this, once the next afternoon it started really raining, and I'm from Huntsville, which is in the Big Thicket, which has the second highest rainfall of any place in the continental United States. I'm used to rain, and I like it, and I've seen some really big rains, but I have never seen a rain like this one, let me tell you. No wind, no lightning, no thunder, straight down. I mean, it just like it was being thrown down. I was just amazing. Right after that rain started, it was so loud you couldn't hear the creek anymore. So that's the real joke I was going to tell about that. I mean, it was so much rain, so you know, you can just kind of close your eyes and think, you know, rain, 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 because it rained, let me tell you. I've never seen such rain. My partner, who's used to taking naps in the late afternoon, slept through the entire 4 hours of rain. Couldn't believe it had rained that much. I'll tell you what, when it stopped raining, you should have heard that creek. Because that creek just swells and goes down according to, you know, how recently the rain has been. So anyway, that's, you know, it does rain certain places in the world. It just doesn't rain here. And it's, you know, you know, I guess it's a problem. It certainly feels like a problem. You know, we have a weather radio at our house. You know, you punch a little button, the weather comes on. And just the other day, you punch the button and the weather radio comes on, and you know, it's mostly robot voices. Hardly ever have a real person anymore. And so this robot voice says, you know, something like, well, you may think it's really been hot this summer. You know, Austin had just gone over 30 days, 100 degrees. It said, but in 1998, by this time, it had been over 50 days over 100. So, you know, they're saying last summer was the hottest summer ever. Well, I don't know. 1998 was really bad. My wife calls 1998 the summer that would never end. You know, we started having 100 degrees in March. We were still having them in October. There must have been some kind of breaks in there. So anyway, we're having a really hot time, a hard time. I think that we're in, as far as our trees are concerned, I think we're in a time that most of them have not really experienced. You know, I've been talking about this heat and drought, and for a long time during the last 10 to 12 years, and I consider we've been in this cycle for, you know, at least since 1998, maybe 97. You know, the year 2007, where it rained a lot, doesn't make sense in this pattern, but, you know, our weather really hasn't made a lot of sense either. But so we've had this pattern for a really long time. In those years, 98 to 2000, I was saying, well, this is the worst drought we've had in Texas since the 50s. Maybe we won't have another one for 50 years. Well, in those days, I don't think I had quite gotten my arms or my mind around climate change, but I think, you know, we're not going to have climate change. We're having it. What happens in the future, you know, I can't predict. Who would have ever predicted 2007? I mean, I'd like to predict that, you know, by the middle of next week we'd be in a rainy spell. Who knows? All this El Nino business, you know, I'll just believe it all when it happens and hope we get some rainfall. So we're really in a tough time, and over these years I have found that with sort of a tiny click in my mind, I go into this, what seems like, to me at least, I don't know if folks listening to me feel like it, but it seems like to me at least, kind of this doomsday, you know, doom and gloom, you know, it's all